A topic that certainly ties into the conversations we've been having on the show today with regard to education, especially education when it comes to the youth. And so often, those of us who are not fortunate enough to pursue tertiary education perhaps seem lost, hopeless, and that we can't really compete on the same level as some of our peers who might be slightly more educated than ourselves. However, there are business schools which provide you with an opportunity to improve your academic ability and, of course, put you at the table to sit across your peers who also have master's degrees and honors degrees, and you can also engage with them in that intellectual capacity. Joining us in studio today to talk about some of the opportunities available for matric qualified individuals who are looking to enhance their education is Professor Jonathan Foster-Pedley, Dean and Director at Henley Business School. Always a pleasure to see you, Prof. I can't contain my excitement. Can you tell?
I love being on your show, Gugu. Thank you.
Great to have you here with us. Whenever we are together in studio, we always talk about opportunities to really empower yourself with education. And for a lot of people, it seems as though it's become very stifled. Choose a particular career path, stick to that one particular degree, and see where it takes you. But Henley's doing something different here.
Wow, why would you do that? I mean, that sounds like a life sentence to me,
I wanted
doesn't
to be a CA, and well, look at me now, but I'm not complaining.
So you graduated?
I did.
Yeah, it's true, because, people think, oh, God, I need security, so I must decide on my career path, get a qualification, work hard, and then that'll set me up for life. But life ain't like that anymore. I love the idea you have 3 or 4 careers in your life. I mean, it's much more interesting. So you learn something. And you learn a trade, you learn a craft, you learn something intellectual, or you learn a professional skill, and you get on. Then during your career path, you say, wow, I'm becoming a manager, or maybe I should be an entrepreneur, or maybe I'm a director, or maybe I'm going to change direction entirely. So you've got to think about what are the building blocks for your life. Because a qualification is a good thing. It makes you feel good, and it puts something, like a medal on your chest. Hey, out of my way, I got a qualification. But actually, so what? Does it give you skills of thinking, of analysis, of understanding people and making things happen, which are all the things that really help you in life. So having knowledge is good, but knowledge without skills is just fairly empty. Skills without knowledge is fairly empty too. So you need to develop knowledge and skills to use those skills, and then also ways of dealing in the world and making a career and a life for yourself. And you can learn all those at a good business school. And I'm not saying Henley is that good business school, but why wouldn't I?
Of course it is.
Of course it is, yeah.
I'm glad that you brought this up. And of course, it's something so critical. You mentioned building blocks of life, not building blocks of a career, is what you've actually alluded to. And with regard to these skills, this is where Henley has found an opportunity for individuals who only have matric as their highest qualification to actually pursue another way of getting into managerial spaces by pursuing the higher certificate in management practice.
Yeah, we've launched this, and it was very interesting. We were sitting in a room the other day trying to work out, how do we tell people about it? Who's it for? And we said, it's for matric people who just maybe haven't gone to university or not going to university. And they thought, wait a minute, it's also for mums who might have married early, they've got their kids, they want to get back in the workplace but don't have a qualification. It might be for creatives who went off in their own direction and now have built a career but now also want to get management skills. Or for those parents who are fed up with their 24-year-old kids who've never actually managed to do anything except explore life and are exasperated. So this is a way to get your kid back onto a career path that will going to give not only a qualification, that's accredited. So you're on a pathway from level 5 to level 6 to level 7, which is the same as a degree. And then you can do a level 8, which is an honours, and you can do that while you're working, all of those things. And then you can do a master's even while you're working. So it's almost like a separate career path that lasts a few more years instead of having to go to university. So it mixes in with the reality of our varied and exciting lives. Much more than the idea of I must be a student for 3 years.
Exactly.
So it's a different pathway, and it's something that we offer, and it's really quite exciting. So you can develop skills and knowledge and build a lot of confidence in yourself, and maybe even start that business.
That's exactly what I wanted to ask. What is the Henley difference with a course like this? Because a lot of the times you think, okay, it's a management-focused higher certificate. I'm going to do the business management model, economics 101, and maybe a bit of stats. What makes this different?
Well, that's kind of like if you were in the industrial age and you wanted to get some basic qualifications, that's what you do. But today, in this sort of varied, exciting, entrepreneurial and complex world we're living in, not only do you need bits of knowledge, but you need to know how to apply them. And you also need to learn about yourself and the people around you. So the sort of learning we do isn't just about knowledge and skills, but it makes you work with it. It makes you learn how to apply it in real life. It makes you work with a team of other people on projects. It makes them critique you, so you get to learn about your management skills and your leadership skills. And then you're learning on multiple levels at the same time. So it's almost like it's like a flight simulator for life, for your real life you're going afterwards, rather than doing a little bit of academic work for something that's going to happen in the future. So it's more complex, more exciting, and more real. You can be the real you in this. You don't have to pretend to be somebody super clever. We're all pretty much endowed with similar levels of intelligence, actually. And obviously there's no difference between races or genders.
Sure.
Sorry, a lot of women would argue with me on that one. but there is no difference. We're all the same human race, and we have the same level of basic intelligence. It's just learning how to apply it and how to develop that. And that's a lifelong thrill, actually, developing your intelligence.
Exactly.
So you need to dive in there and just carry on learning and practice learning all your life if you want to have a sharp brain and be able to adapt.
Learning all your life. So clearly we're never too old. Afropolitans, we're still in conversation with the Dean and Director at Henley Business School, Professor John Foster-Pedley, joining us in studio today to take a look at opportunities to really advance our managerial skills, but most importantly, life skills, actually, in order to advance in the various careers that you'll pursue. This is on the back of the recent launch of the Higher Certificate in Management Practice at Henley Business School, which is now available for individuals who even have just a matric certificate as the highest qualification. With that said, though, Prof, I can't let you go without talking about the cost of education. And of course, even though Henley is a private school establishment, there are means and ways that you've opted for to make education accessibility a lot more affordable.
Well, we're really trying, and the first thing is we try and bring the costs down to the level we can make it. And one of my passions is to make affordable education. But also it's the choices we make. You know, people say, wow, an MBA is expensive. And I say, yeah, it is. It's about as expensive as a third-hand Toyota Fortuner, actually.
Wow.
And
how many times do people opt for the latter?
Yeah, exactly. They'll go for the car, but they won't think of something that's going to pay and actually build their life. It's a hard choice because one's tangible. So we're really trying to make it affordable. And I think one has to think hard about what you're paying for. It's something that's traditional education is like you're paying for something boring. But the sort of education we do, which is building you in real life as you go along, is much more interesting, and you can feel yourself growing. So you get this sense of development and growth, which is super motivational while you're paying some money for it. So it's a much richer sort of education, much more practical, real, and one that really respects the learners. This isn't like school. You come to us at Henley and you're treated like an adult, and we really care, and we spend time in the classroom, if you like, or whatever the workshops are. We spend time on teaching mutual respect, not just for the individual, but for the capacity of each of us in terms of how we think. We respect each other in the way we think differently, we come with different contributions and different capabilities, because that's how you have to be as a manager. You've got to try and understand the different ways people contribute. You're not there to put them down, and it's difficult. I make that mistake all the time. And I get feedback about that sometimes, and I think, wow, I must learn. But but none of us are perfect, and we all have to forgive ourselves. But we also have to see the good in other people and the capability in other people, because that's how you learn to work with others, and that's what you learn on a proper management program, whether it's about a course or work or life, because we're still all managers in our real lives too. We're managing other people's activities and how we work with them.
Exactly. Oh, always profound words, Prof, and thank you so much for coming in.
You.
Very briefly, for those who are seeking information about this management course, where can they find information?
Well, just Google Henley Africa, or you can call me on 071 359 4356, or you can just email Henley, so just go to info@henleysa.ac.za. Well, best just to Google us. We all Google these days, don't we?
Exactly,
We're there.
we do.
Henley Africa.
Fantastic.
We'd love to help.
Thank you so much,
Thanks,
Prof,
Gugu,
for joining us and giving us perspective on some of the new avenues that one can certainly use to advance their education levels. That's the Higher Certificate in Management Practice, available through Henley Business School. Even if you just have a matric, you too do qualify to participate in this particular course. A big thank you to the Dean and Director at Henley Business School, Professor John Foster-Pedley, joining us this